Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I have been waiting for this episode of CinemaTalk ever since we began the show. Today is going to be a very fun episode, especially for me. Today, in honor of our Captain America Winter Soldier review, which just went up online this past Saturday, we are going to be discussing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what's to come, why it works so well, and how Winter Soldier has, arguably dramatically affected it. We're going to have a little talk about that. So, hey, let's just get started. I'm Larry.
I'm Sean.
And I'm a sickly Max.
Yes, and hey guys, I hear there's this great new shawarma stand down the lobby. So let's just go over there. We'll be right back. Give us a sec.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
I know, it's weird. Like, lobbies don't usually have shawarma stands, but like this lobby does. That seems a little too convenient. Hi everyone. Once again, my name is Larry, and welcome to this awesome episode of Cinema Talk. Seriously, this is going to be a great one. And with me, of course, are my two co-hosts, Sean Capdeville and Max Mariner. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Well, yeah.
I'm doing pretty okay.
I guess we should kind of give a disclaimer. Max is very sick right now. Yeah.
Yes.
If you hear if you hear some coughing, maybe a little bit of a downer in Max, that's why. So Max, hopefully you'll feel better and stay in good condition. So again, today's discussion is going to be about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU for short. It has had a dramatic role, in my personal opinion, of how superhero films have played a role in cinema. It's an incredible endeavor that it is. And we're going to start off by just going through what we have so far for the MCU. So we start off with Phase 1, Iron Man, probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, same here.
Iron Man is probably somewhere. It's in the top 3.
Yeah.
Avengers and Iron Man are always kind of like at war with each other for me.
I agree.
But yeah, it's definitely up there. It was just definitely like the best way to start. Like that movie came out and people said, "Oh, okay, we're doing this."
Yeah, it was like
we're doing quality stuff.
Yeah, like Iron Man was a great film in so many aspects. Not only with Robert Downey Jr. kind of making his comeback, but it was also just
it was a big deal for him.
It was just like such a great movie on its own. Like, you don't even have to talk about it as a superhero movie. Just on its own, it's great.
It was.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you guys, did either of you guys stay through the credits?
I did, actually.
Yeah, me too.
And
me
that
too.
was
I did
not
with my dad.
That was not intentional, though.
Oh.
I stayed after the credits because I was just so hyped up about the movie. Like, I was loving it.
How old were you? Jeez, like you were like freaking 10 or something, right?
Yeah, but like that's not the point. The point is, I was like every time I walk out of a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, usually I feel like so hyped. Like I am just on fire, and so I couldn't leave my seat. I was so excited, and then I saw the ending scene. Now at the time, I wasn't as much of a comics guy, so I didn't really know who the hell that was. I didn't know who Nick Fury was. I didn't know what SHIELD was. I didn't really get it at all, but it was cool, more Iron Man. So obviously it was predicting something. And what did it predict? Well, it went on. We had a small little intersection with the Hulk for the Incredible Hulk, which if you do watch it, it does actually have some important details about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Now, hold on, Larry. Sean, did you stay through the credits?
On the original Iron Man?
Yeah.
No, because I didn't see it in theaters, actually.
Oh.
I was late to this party. Like the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters was the Avengers, actually. Now that I think about it, because I didn't even see Thor until after Avengers. But I seen Iron Man, loved it. Saw Iron Man 2. I kind of forgot about that one. And then Captain right before Avengers. But yeah, Thor I had to wait till after. But we'll get there. Right. But no, I did not stay after the credits because I didn't know about it and I wasn't in theaters. So yeah, I didn't. But I know of the scene. Nick Fury comes in and says, "Hey, teasing about the Avengers." And then
pretty much.
Fade to black.
And I got really pumped because at the time I knew the Avengers were like Marvel's Justice League, basically. Like,
flip that.
that's a really general statement, but
Wait, is it? Which came? I can't remember which came first.
Justice League definitely came first. But I just knew the Avengers were Marvel's Justice League, and I mean, just in that it was just a bunch of superheroes that had their own stories put together. So I was like, oh my god! And then these two really nerdy guys down front, and they were like, oh my god! They were just freaking out. My dad and I were like, that's freaking cool. It was really, really awesome. I was so like, pumped because my dad had always taught me to stay through the credits because you never know what could come at the end. Also, pay respect to those filmmakers and whatnot. But like, we got like the best thing we could possibly get for that. It was awesome. Anyway, moving on. Great.
So we take a small intersection with the Hulk at the Incredible Hulk, which
did any of you see it?
I did. I didn't see it in theaters.
No,
not in theaters. Right.
Okay,
I saw it until after Avengers.
I've seen bits of it, like it was on TV a few weeks ago, and I saw a few scenes, but I just haven't really been motivated to see it because it has always been it's kind of the outlier. It's the only one that the actor didn't continue. It's considered one of the weaker ones.
It is
one of the pretty damn good.
I thought it was one of the weaker ones. I don't think. Look, I liked Fight Club, but I don't know. I just don't think Edward Norton can keep up that kind of film. He's not. I don't think he's much of a leading man, in my opinion.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I don't like him very much. I mean, some of his characters are interesting, but I don't just really like him as a whole. I don't really like how he handles personality in his films with his characters. The only reason I really liked his performance in Fight Club is because, well, he was alongside, Brad Pitt.
And whatnot.
So that's why.
Here's the fun fact for you guys regarding the Hulk. Did you know that technically speaking, you could consider the Ang Lee 2003 Hulk to be the very first Marvel Cinematic Universe film?
No, it does not fit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No,
it was confirmed. No, a character is being repeated in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it's firmly establishing, and Marvel doesn't consider it. Hulk is not part of Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
No one likes Hulk.
I hated that film. I watched it a few years ago when I was
just because it ends in the jungle, and like just because that movie ends in the jungle, and like the Incredible Hulk begins again, like in the same area. It's just, it just, technically speaking, now it doesn't mean that it is, it's just technically you could make an argument that it does fit in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't, though. Like, it does not fit in the story because it doesn't fit at all. The Incredible Hulk is not a sequel at all.
Yeah, it's a reboot. I know that.
Right.
I'm just saying it is based on story and whatnot because they don't have the origin story in the Incredible Hulk. Anyway.
That's like saying, technically, Spider-Man 2 is kind of part of this Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Well,
I mean, it has Spider-Man.
Okay,
no,
well,
that's not.
No.
That's the only link there is what I'm saying.
Isn't.
Hulk and Incredible Hulk, the Incredible Hulk was designed to kind of brush that aside and let Marvel do it the way they wanted to in order to build up to the Avengers.
I agree. But, well, I mean, I understand your point, Max. Don't worry. I get what you're saying. But, so, the Incredible Hulk, I personally found it one of the weaker ones. So then we move on. We got Iron Man 2, which many consider to be highly inferior to the first one, which I
found it was just as
agree.
Good.
I don't remember it. That's kind of the problem. I've definitely seen it. I don't remember it that well, which doesn't speak well of it, because I remember Iron Man really well.
Yeah, the only part I remember truly, besides Robert Downey Jr., truly fondly of it, was the recasting of Rhodey.
Yeah.
Which worked well. I think
Don Cheadle's awesome.
Don Cheadle's great.
Don Cheadle's freaking great.
And Scarlett Johansson introduced as Black Widow.
Of course,
that was fun.
Of course. Although we never, I feel that movie. Thank God we had her more of a character in later films because I don't feel they scratched the surface of what her character can do.
Yeah. She got bigger part in Avengers and of course Winter Soldier. So
right, of course.
I'll say this much. Iron Man 2. I hate to use food analogies because I do it a lot. Iron Man 2 for me is like a big old messy piece of pizza. It's structurally, it's pretty bad, and it's kind of a mess. When you take a big old bite of it, it tastes great. I think it's one of the funniest action films I've ever watched, personally.
Oh, well, interesting opinion. We move on to Thor, which was an interesting one. It kind of was the first film where it was solidified to the public that this was happening. Like, the MCU was starting to form.
That's very true.
I feel like Iron Man 2 came out, it's like, oh, it's a sequel, because Iron Man 1 was great, so why wouldn't they make Iron Man 2? But now Thor is coming out, it's like, why the hell do we have a Thor movie?
Because Thor is part of the Avengers.
Oh, right.
Is Thor too weird for audiences? That's what Marvel wanted to find out.
Exactly. But it worked out pretty well. Kenneth Branagh directed it, which was really
which is really cool. I love Marvel's directorial decisions, like getting some really interesting guys to like direct stuff.
Very, very Shakespearean. kind of director. So,
which I think worked really well. See, what's funny is this movie was actually one of the very first movies ever like reviewed for something. It's pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed Thor. What about you guys?
I did. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I definitely think it's okay. It's a solid movie. I don't want to say I dislike it at all. There's a lot of good parts there. But it is interesting how they kind of took out the superhero part of the superhero movie. He doesn't have power for, a solid 80% of the movie. And I found that kind of jarring. And we didn't get that much in return for that. We got some character development, don't get me wrong, and that was appreciated. But overall, it felt kind of... It didn't quite live up to the others. Like, it was important to get the origin, I get that, but it didn't feel as substantial.
Well,
especially compared to... actually, Larry, I know exactly what you're going to bring up. It does lead to the Avengers, which is kind of fun.
Well, that's not really the only thing. Really, Thor doesn't have much of an origin. He's a god on Asgard, son of Odin, and that's about all you need to know.
Yeah, but it is important to get him to hero status,
of course,
not just, jerk.
Yeah, the story in Thor was meant to bring him into the public eye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the public in the universe. So people know he exists, and S.H.I.E.L.D. knows he exists, and thus that's how it worked.
And of course,
what's also interesting is that this movie is very, like, a lot more, like, lighthearted, I guess. It's not where, like, the Incredible Hulk is about rage and craziness and, like, all this, like, experimentation stuff. Iron Man is about a guy struggling with his own alcoholism and, like, his existential crisis. Like, this is about a dude who's really arrogant and he gets...
It's a fish out of water. That kind of story.
Yeah, maybe that's why it doesn't feel as strong as the rest. I mean,
it's a
I
very
haven't seen
different
Incredible
style.
Hulk, but I wouldn't say it's as strong as Captain America 1 or Iron Man.
That's true.
Because it is kind of simpler. And it's just, it basically, it's just, its entire purpose is to get Thor to hero status. Yeah. Like, he actually belongs in the Avengers now. Before, he was just a hotshot. He had no place in the Avengers. So the entire goal was to get the character ready to be in the Avengers. And hey, it worked. It definitely worked. Yeah. But it felt a little more like it was just there for Avengers. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, it didn't feel as strong on its own. And
the post-credits scene was pretty cool, right? I mean, I didn't know what any of it was about, but I still oh my god, Loki's back.
Yeah, and actually, that's the biggest thing I took away from Thor. Again, I saw it after the Avengers. The Avengers was a good introduction to Loki, of course. But after seeing Thor, I felt really bad for Loki.
Yeah, he got screwed over pretty much.
Yeah, he did. And the end. Okay, that's one thing. Odin played by Anthony Hopkins. I just sometimes famous actors I refer to their characters by their name. Odin kind of caused the Avengers by just kind of being a jerk when he's hanging on. Spoilers, by the way, for like every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I think that's pretty clear at this point. He's holding on to Thor, who's holding on to Loki. And Loki's pretty much says, "I did it for you, Father." I can't remember the exact words, and he's really like pleading for some acceptance. And then Odin just backhands him, saying, "Nah, but you're a bad guy, though." And so Loki says, "Fine, I'm just going to let go and fall into this black hole, whatever." And that's what causes the Avengers. So I thought it was really tragic, but also kind of hilarious how easily the Avengers would have been avoided if he had just said, "Oh, it's okay, son, just don't jump into black hole and talk with Thanos." Really. Don't do that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that was a long, rambly thing.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's move on. Here's the thing I found interesting, real quick, before we get to First Avenger. So, with Winter Soldier...
we need Captain.
Yeah, huh?
We need to do Captain first.
I know, but hold on. Before we move on to Captain America, I want to point out something interesting that I just realized. So, Thor has, like, the setup for the Avengers, basically, with, like, the Tesseract and, Loki taking over that...
Yeah, especially guy, right? Loki becoming a villain. It is the most influential on the Avengers. The first Avengers movie.
Now, that's what's interesting about this is that that's pretty much what they're doing with the Winter Soldier. They basically did, like, this huge thing that's going to happen, setting up the Avenger 2, and then the next film is, like, in a completely different setting, completely different time, perhaps, with Guardians of the Galaxy. And they did the exact same thing in Phase 1 with Captain America, the First Avenger, being set 60 years before any of this happened.
That's actually a really good thing. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that. Huh. Except Guardians will not be a part of Avengers 2.
Yeah,
they will be a part of
just
Avengers 3,
look at all this great stuff that happened in Winter Soldier, and we won't touch on it until a year from now. What up?
Yeah. Well, I feel okay. We'll get to Guardians after we're done.
Yes, definitely.
Captain America: The First Avenger. That is the subtitle for the first one. This
Finally, it had a subtitle.
This one was interesting for me because I was never a huge Captain America fan. I found him to be like the Superman for like the DC. And listen, Superman fans, whatever. You like Superman for your reasons. I personally find Superman to be one of the blandest superheroes ever.
It depends on how he's he's presented, but I can understand why, and I agree in a lot of cases.
Yeah, he's been done so many times, and no one's really tried to take him in a new light in a long time.
Yeah, I mean the comics have tried different things, like New 52.
And nobody's
They've been
like
rebooting,
and no one looks
Captain
at that.
America,
right? Sorry, so Captain America always seemed like that for me for a while, but then I saw this movie. And it kind of changed my opinion about it because it kind of made it a lot more interesting when you put it into the perspective of the Marvel Universe. His character. He's a character who lived through... This is World War II. World War II. And he lived through World War II, and he was frozen. And he's like... what's the word? He's thawed out. That's what I was looking for. He's thawed out in a modern world. That's so interesting to me.
That's always been his thing.
Yeah, but I never knew that for a while.
Which is kind of funny because if you think about it, eventually they're going to have to change the whole World War II as his origin because soon it's going to get just, the 40s to 2012. And, I mean, yeah, he can be frozen that long. He's super soldier, whatever. I can buy that. But in a few decades, it's going to get kind of ridiculous how long he's been frozen. So they might update it. We'll have to see.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Anyway, I think Captain America is one of the strongest Marvel movies. Captain America 1.
I would say it's the second strongest, yeah.
Yeah, it's just really nice. It's I don't know, it's just a really nicely told story.
Yeah, and it's so great. Stylized. Yeah, love the look of it.
Oh yeah, totally. I think the person like Captain America is pretty epic, but at the same time it's in a time frame a lot of like in the past. But they still made it like just as cool. Which is actually really interesting to me. And then after Captain America, we move on to the monger.
Okay, hold on. Did anybody say through the credits for Captain America?
Yes. Well, yeah. By this time, we kind of knew.
Yeah, you just got a trailer for a literal trailer for the Avengers.
Yeah.
Some assembly required.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird.
Yeah, that's a weird tagline, isn't it?
Well, hey, this entire universe has kind of been an assembly in itself. So
I prefer the Guardians one. You're welcome.
Yeah,
I think that's really
that was the best tagline for many years to come.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we'll get there. Avengers. Many people have called it the Star Wars of our generation, and I totally agree.
I do too. But I'm not on board with it as much as everybody else.
It is a big deal. Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe itself.
It was probably one of the most anticipated films for a very long time, and I don't think until maybe Justice League ends up forming its way, which will probably take a lot longer than anybody
they've already
thinks.
Confirmed it for after Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, but
kind of wrapping up a trilogy.
I don't think that's going to do fans justice.
No, it's not because.
Hold on. We'll have a whole discussion about why the DCEU sucks in the future. But
the problem really is I don't. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about when we get to down the road. We'll talk about the whole Man of Steel 2 same day as Cap 3.
Exactly.
Anyway, we'll talk about that for sure.
So
the Avengers.
So the Avengers. Awesome. This is like until Justice League comes out. This will probably be like the latest biggie. Like when we think of
Avengers 2.
Well, yeah, but like this was. Like, the only... See, here's the problem with sequels. Sure, the Avengers 2 is going to be awesome, probably, but, like, my excitement for Avengers 2 probably will never really reach the peak that Avengers had. Because, like, Avengers, like, this is, like... I don't know if it's, like, the first time this many superheroes in live action have been together, but it's, like, the first time that, like, people have come together, made a composite of movies, and, like, made this much effort for this movie. Like, this was big. This is like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, big, and like in my opinion, it exceeded my expectations. I loved it. I love the Avengers.
I'm more excited for Age of Ultron than I was for the first Avengers because I just went to the Avengers because it looked really cool and I loved Iron Man and I liked Captain. I liked the first Captain movie, but I wasn't like super into it. But now that I'm really into the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe thing, and I know a lot of where it's going, which we'll talk about, of course, I'm really like unbelievably excited for Age of Ultron because I think Joss Whedon's going to do so many awesome things with the Ultron character. And his storyline's going to be interesting because Ultron wipes out like 80% of the Earth's population most of the time. So we're going to see how they handle Ultron.
Exactly. So we went to the MCU with two different ideas, which kind of worked pretty well.
Avengers was kind of my introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe because I had my Iron Man movies and then I had Captain as just on the side. Right. So Avengers was the first time where it actually all kind of came together. Then I saw Thor, and it then just kind of formed from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you, Max? Avengers.
I really like the Avengers. It's a good, solid B+ movie. I mean, like the fact that it even exists in the first place is really awesome. Like one of my favorite film
miraculous.
critics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my favorite film critics called it basically a victory celebration of its own existence, and I really agree. It really is like it really is a phenomenon, and the fact that it works it works pretty freaking well. The fact that it does is a real sign of how much work was put into it, and of course,
and
like
Joss Whedon's brilliance.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon's pretty good.
He's great.
And it's
I really enjoyed it. Now the post credits thing, the mid credits. This was the first time we saw a mid credits ending. Which
yes,
yeah,
interesting.
Did you guys know about
stuff.
Thanos before that happened?
I was explained Thanos right before the movie started. I was like, hey, so here's what's... Well, yeah, because I was with like a friend who knows... No, it's just... So it's pretty much... I was like about to see it. Friend said, okay, so the credits is going to be this Thanos guy, and here's his deal.
Dude,
so,
what the fuck?
Just so you know.
Wow, that's so stupid.
Because why is it a spoiler?
Because no one knew it would go there.
Yeah,
but I didn't care.
I knew about Thanos
know
through Marvel
Thanos.
vs. Capcom.
Oh, well, he didn't... Oh, well, okay, at the time.
Yeah, I don't know about Thanos.
Sean
so
didn't really know at all, and
yeah, how is it a spoiler? It's like, okay, Larry. At the end of Man of Steel 2, they're going to do a Darkseid tease.
Well... Okay.
It's like that. Like, do you know Darkseid?
Yes, but here's the thing.
I misjudged then.
Yeah, see here... Okay, don't... Dude, after I saw the Avengers, I went on hyper mode on Avengers stuff. Okay.
Well, Darkseid is DC.
Yeah, Darkseid's DC, and Darkseid's kind of pretty much the Thanos of the DC universe.
As in, like, they've had legal battles over the similarities of Thanos and Darkseid.
Yeah,
it's hilarious how similar they are.
Yeah, they're pretty much just warmongering titans, essentially.
Yeah, have you seen like photos, Thanos and Darkseid? It's pretty hilarious.
I mean, one has purple skin, one has like orange skin. It's like kind of funny how that works. Like,
they're
both very similar.
Thanos, his entire goal from the beginning, he wants to impress the literal embodiment of death.
Yeah.
So she will fall in love with him.
Yep.
Death is a woman, and Thanos is trying to hit on her all the time.
And that's what makes that line so great. They actually like have a relationship, Thanos and Death, in the comics. And so the line that his lieutenant says, Thanos says, "What if the people of Earth?" And his lieutenant says, "To challenge them is to court death." And he turns and smiles like, "Yeah, I'm doing that."
Yeah, it's happening.
She's a solid 10,
it's
bro.
Happening.
You jealous?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that's why that line's actually really good, I think.
Yeah, I was so pissed off. I was spoiled that mid-credits by an annoying-ass commenter on a forum who lived in the UK where the film was released first.
Oh.
And it annoyed... Because I knew about Thanos. He's one of my favorite villains ever. Like, it's just like... How
well, then
big
you'll be stoked
he
for
is.
Avengers 3.
I will be. Like, that will come as close. Like, literally, Thanos is like... You think he can get big, but yet he just gets bigger. And that always fascinated me about his character. He never can get smaller. Like, always gets bigger. But enough about that. Avengers was awesome. We all agree. Moving on.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. Now, this is where my relationship with the MCU kind of dabbles a little bit. Because, in my opinion, Iron Man 3 narratively is one of the weaker ones, and I know Sean disagrees.
No.
Sean disagrees.
It's the strongest.
I think it's goddamn excellent.
Sean disagrees.
It's the strongest of Phase 2.
I disagree with that.
Arguably, it's almost as good. See, that's the thing. I keep arguing between Iron Man 3, Avengers, and the first Iron Man of what is the best Marvel movie. Iron Man 3, I love it because it realized that, hey, the Avengers was a really big deal, and not just for us, but for the characters. And what's so great is that Captain just came out of, being frozen for 70-something years, so seeing aliens isn't that much of a jump. Like, he's already kind of thrown out of his element and having to adjust and stuff. Thor, he deals with this stuff all the time. He's not phased. He fights frost giants. So I love that Tony Stark was the only character who could be this psychologically disturbed by the events of the Avengers, and they took advantage of that.
Yeah, really.
That's the whole point of Iron Man 3, is dealing with what happened in the Avengers. And I think that's brilliant because, like I said in my... When did I say that? I think, in my Catching Fire review, because Catching Fire did the same thing. It's like, acknowledging the past of your character in a series is really good.
Yeah.
And I always thought this, genius billionaire playboy philanthropist is going to have... He's not used to this sort of thing. He's not... Like, what? He fought his boss who had a suit. Like, that was his first film. Then he fought some, like, Whiplash. I can't remember his motivations. Like, that's all he's done. He's fought, like, people with suits similar to him. Now he's fighting off alien invasions with gods at his side. It's like...
And he almost died. Like, he fell through a black freaking hole.
And that was such an amazing scene in Avengers when he was just totally alone, just out in space.
Yes.
His suit went out. That was such a good scene.
It was great.
For a second, I forgot there was an Iron Man 3 and was really sad because they just killed off Iron Man. But luckily, he fell back and is okay.
I
Hulk
agree.
saved him.
Yes, Hulk saved him.
It's a very interesting angle, and I appreciate that. I like that about the narrative. In my opinion,
what's your problem with it again?
My problem, though, is towards the middle. I felt, this is as the film's quality as a whole, I felt that his little idea towards the middle slowed the movie's tone down for me a lot. And that was just because he was... That kind of works with the entire idea that, he's contemplating, Iron Man and everything.
Well, yeah, he had to leave Iron Man behind to figure out what happened.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. At the end of Iron Man 3, it pretty much just ties every single freaking loose end about the entire Iron Man idea within 5 minutes.
Right.
And that doesn't really sit well with me.
Well, no, I think it was building up the entire film because he couldn't deal with what had happened. His world was completely shattered, and all of his suits were this desperate attempt to survive. I mean, he was a child that was just thrown into a gladiator arena. Like, he was fighting alongside Hulk, who's invincible, Thor, who's a god. And so, he felt so inferior after this, and he almost died. And so all these suits are kind of like a manifestation of, I gotta fight it somehow. So that's why he makes Hulkbuster. He was so scared by seeing Hulk in combat, he made a suit to stop him if need be. That's the Hulkbuster armor, confirmed for Age of Ultron. So I think it was building up the entire movie that he had to let go of this. Now, when we talk about Age of Ultron, we'll talk about how that continues. But I love Iron Man 3's ending. He gave it up.
Yeah, but I just...
A clean slate protocol, right?
I feel they could have taken...
the clean slate protocol.
I feel they could have taken a little bit more time. As in, not just that, but like one of the main issues that bothers me. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have the rest of the phase to go. But they literally clear up the shrapnel in a scene.
They complete his arc entirely, which I think
because that's good. It's the end of the trilogy. They don't want an Iron Man 4.
Yeah, and I like that. I do like that, but it's just I feel like. I don't know. I just feel it could have been handled better overall with just the events. I feel we should have kind of had him question the idea that he would end it all, literally, in front of our faces earlier in the film, and then we could have had that whole scene. It was bold,
and that whole Mandarin thing was also very bold. It was a nice risk.
Okay, I think it's time we can finally do spoilers on what the Mandarin is and talk about that really briefly. That was brilliant.
Yep.
People need to stop being so upset about it.
Yeah.
It's really... I get that you want your crazy awesome villain to fight against the crazy awesome hero. I get that, but would he have fit? Do you want a magician with rings? That's not who Iron Man fights, and that would totally go against the theme of the movie. It's like, how do I deal with the fact that I fought something so much bigger than me? Oh, hey, I'm just going to go fight something so much bigger than me. No, he returned to his normal world, and that let him adjust. He fought his battle, but it was doable.
Right.
All right, yeah. It was. And Iron Man 3 is awesome.
Yeah, the Mandarin decision I thought was a smart decision. Not the one I would have taken, but whatever. I thought Shane Black is a great director. I feel he accomplished it well.
I was kind of concerned after I heard Jeff Favreau wasn't directing the third, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. The Mandarin twist proved to me that these guys are not afraid of taking risks. That Marvel's not just going to get into the safe zone. Which
Exactly.
brings us to, well, the one where they kind of play it safe, Thor the Dark
Thor
World.
the
Dark
World.
World, definitely.
You know what I like about Thor the Dark World? There's really not much to say. It's a good movie, and that's...
Yeah.
It's good, yeah. It's really good.
think-
It has a lot of great character stuff between Thor and Loki. The plot is solid enough, but for me, it always felt a little generic. Like, oh, here's the big bad guy trying to end the world with some omnipotent source of evil power that must be destroyed. And it just kind of felt like it was just kind of going by the numbers. And, I mean, the numbers weren't bad. You know, these aren't bad numbers. They've worked before. They'll work again. But it didn't feel as inspired as, you know, Iron Man 3, which really took some risks. And this felt pretty safe. It was still enjoyable. I still like it. And, of course, you can check our review of this up on the site. We all reviewed The Dark World.
Right.
We all liked it.
Yeah, we all liked it, but for
I
now we
liked
can kind of move on.
Thor the Dark World is just kind of, oh, look, Thor's here. We need him to do something. All right, here you go. Okay, moving on to Captain America the Winter Soldier.
Captain America. Again, you can see our review.
Yes,
went
we
up
just
recently.
posted the review this past Saturday. Now, we all like the film,
Yes.
but
Definitely.
we disagree. Mainly me and Sean disagree on
Yeah.
how big it is. I feel that
Okay.
it turns the universe upside down, and Sean
Yep.
feels it barely has any significance.
No. I don't believe that. I believe that it affects the past films more than it does the future. And that's why I said in my review that the ramifications were kind of disturbing. Again, spoiler for Winter Soldier, this is the last chance. We're going to talk about what happens. And a lot happens, so please, if you've not seen Captain America the Winter Soldier, please
Stop listening
I
and
guess.
go see it, because it's awesome.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
see it.
that's
It's
great.
really good.
It's great.
So, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been infiltrated by
Hydra.
through
Hydra.
all this time. Since the end of World War II, Hydra's been working in S.H.I.E.L.D. Now,
Like,
it
it's been an
seems to
integral
me-
part of its development, literally.
Right, now, it seems to me that kind of throws a lot of questions in rewatching the Phase 1 movies.
Yeah, it does.
Like, they unfreeze Captain America. He's sleeping for a while in that hospital, waiting for him to wake up, and not one Hydra agent in disguise, you know, who's also a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, not one could have slipped in there and shot him or anything. And also, here's how I see it. They have this great, awesome, big plan, right, to launch these helicarriers and just to kill like 2 million people. They said
20 million
Or
to save
20
7
million.
billion.
like 20 million that would threaten their new order. Like 20 million people, just boom.
Including
a
Tony
huge
Stark, if you
freaking-
guys looked in the movie.
Well,
Yep,
of course,
he was
this is
named.
a huge freaking plan.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. I feel like if you have a plan this big and so easy to go wrong, you take out a threat. And this takes place after Avengers. Hydra watched this go down. They know that if the Avengers found out, they are toast. They are done. Because guess what? One of the Avengers found out and stopped them. The weakest of the Avengers was able to stop them. So I feel like throughout all of Phase 1, Hydra should have said, you guys, I think we should deal with that. Let's just now, before it becomes a problem. Because guess what? It became a problem.
It
So
did.
it kind of bothers me. Like, look, Tony Stark gave out his address in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that was really
Just
stupid.
and
it was
two
just an
attack
infinite rage,
choppers.
because his best friend had
And
been like...
we're not talking about that. We're talking and 2 attack choppers from the Mandarin were able to fly right by and launch missiles. Why didn't Hydra do anything? Why didn't Hydra take out Iron Man right then? Because Iron Man could stop them. And look at Steve Rogers. He's just chilling in an apartment in Brooklyn. Did you see how easy it was for them to shoot Nick Fury in his apartment?
Yeah.
He walked by that spot dozens of times a day, I bet. They could have easily killed him. And the Hulk, they couldn't kill, but I don't think anyone would be looking because they have the Winter Soldier. They build up the Winter Soldier as a ghost. So they use the Winter Soldier to kill Stark, to kill Rogers. Then what? Thor's going to fly down? I mean, he's going to be upset, sure, because he got to know them, but he's not smart enough to look into it. And there's no trace. There's no one's going to be able to track the Winter Soldier. Back to S.H.I.E.L.D. and then come to the conclusion that it's Hydra. You know, like, I feel like so many opportunities came up where Hydra should have stepped in. If they were in this position of power, where they had like a standing army. Because everyone on the helicarrier was Hydra, according to
Right.
Nick Fury.
Well, do you think that...
None of
brings up the
they were
question,
never
though.
able to attack.
That brings up the question, though. Do you think that this plot idea was from the beginning?
No.
Yeah,
That's
no,
something I
I
want
don't
to talk
think
about.
so. Exactly.
I feel like it was... I cut this line out because my problem with it, I feel like my segment in that review was too long, so I cut this part out. But I think I said it pretty well. It doesn't feel as cohesive with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it's too concerned with its own epicness. It's like, hey, we got to get these stakes so big. Let's do this. Well, doesn't that raise questions in phase 1? It doesn't matter. Just helicarriers shoot each other. Big, awesome, end of world.
That was
20
really
million.
big, awesome set piece, I will say.
And also, I want to bring up, people might think in the review I say it feels too big. Come on, 20 million people, that's big. And you're like, well, Thor the Dark World, the guy was about to end all of the universe. Yeah, but that's Thor. That's Tuesday for him.
Yeah.
He saves existence every other week.
Pretty
so, yeah, so it didn't feel as unearned. This one did. It's like we're like 20 million people. Boom. It's forcibly big. Like I said, it felt forcibly big. I'm coming across as really negative, but I don't mean to. I really liked the Winter Soldier.
I have to admit, Sean, you're kind of making a good point. I kind of have to say, hearing your arguments, it does seem a little incohesive, and it does raise up some questions. However,
if that's true. Okay.
I still think that it was a really interesting twist, and I think that it really sets. I think it completely flips the universe upside down.
I don't think it does because S.H.I.E.L.D. had only recently gotten that important.
The glue that binds this franchise together is gone. That's the main thing you take away from this.
But do we need that anymore? S.H.I.E.L.D. The only purpose of S.H.I.E.L.D.
How
was
do we bring them together?
Ultron's going to bring them together really quick, fast. Ultron's going to mess up some cities, and they're going to say,
let's... know?
Well, because he's in London with Natalie Portman.
That's true. But, it depends on where Ultron is.
Portman,
Ultron will most likely be in America to start.
Right.
Okay, yeah, let's transition to that.
Yeah,
so we're done with
quick.
Winter
Can
Soldier.
I say something about Winter Soldier?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Winter Soldier to me was excellent. Like, if you saw the review, I thought it was like borderline, not flawless, but borderline the best it could be.
It was 9.5, so really close to 10.
Yeah, so I personally thought it was like really great, and like one of the reasons why, because one of the reasons why was because they didn't do like this thing where it's like, oh, we just got to take out the Hydra out of S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. will be perfect and ready to go and everything. They were just like, we have to destroy S.H.I.E.L.D. because Hydra has been a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. since literally the very beginning.
Yeah,
that's what like struck me as like, wow, this is like, these guys are not screwing around. These guys know what they're doing.
It was kind of like, no, we can't just take out the evil part. You realize that if this exists, bad things are going to come from it.
It is like a Hydra. You cut off one head, and two will sprout from it.
So sure, you can take out the Hydra part, but but it's still there. It still has so much power. People who are going to abuse that are going to be drawn to it. So it was smart for them to take it out. I do respect that decision. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is pretty much gone.
Yep, done.
And also, I like the joke. I was going to tweet it, but I felt like it was too much of a spoiler. I felt like Captain America 2 was written with the sole purpose of canceling Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I hear they still have episodes left.
Yeah,
they do. They're fine. They'll continue.
The writers, they called up Joss Whedon. They're like, "Okay, you want to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, listen, just gotta remember this is gonna happen in Winter Soldier. And Joss Whedon's like, "Okay,
yeah, they knew."
Yeah.
Let's not spend too much time on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And that's how you get
doesn't
back from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that's a different thing.
It's pretty mad what I saw.
But it's good now.
Yeah.
It's good now. Anyway.
All right. So, wow, this has been a very in-depth discussion. So we are done talking about all of the films that have already been released for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But, twist time. This is actually going to be a two-part CinemaTalk discussion because there's so much to talk about this Marvel Cinematic Universe that we are going to take the next episode of CinemaTalk and let that episode take what we think about the future as far as Phase 3 is concerned and Phase 4. And then we're going to talk about why the MCU works so well and what people need to what people can like learn from the success of the MCU. And when we say success, like holy crap success, like boatloads and boatloads of money. So that's it for this episode, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. A quick rundown of what's been going on in the site. We really wanted to just jump in with this, but we're going to talk about the site real quick. The really only major thing that's gone up is the review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It turned out pretty well, so I say go check it out. We've also had some reviews with brevity go up as of late, so go check those out also. And as far as other shows are concerned, I don't know about you guys or what your plans are, but on Wednesday, same day as today actually, you can find an episode of The Greats. from me.
We'll do it Tuesday night then. I hate having 2 videos on the same day.
But the person's birthday is.
Yeah,
on
we've done
Wednesday.
it before, the day before. Bryan Cranston, we did the day before, the evening of.
Okay, fine. Well, I don't know if it'll be.
It'll
ready
be
by
up.
then,
That's
but...
all that matters for listeners. It will be up, so go check that out.
Okay, fine. So it will be up, and it'll be cool, and everything will be splendid. So,
Indeed.
And thank you guys for watching this episode. This is a very special episode for me, and next episode will be as well. So, hey, stay tuned to the next episode. Remember, guys, you can check out all of our content on rulethirds.com. Always fun. And, yeah, my name's Larry.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Max.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
Oh,
I don't know if Max will be able to join us next time. We'll see if he lives. We'll see if he lives that long.
Oh, God. All right,
You know what
guys.
the best part about recording a podcast online is? You guys won't get sick.
Let's hope so. I don't know. Rule 2s just doesn't have the same ring to it. You need to stay alive, Max.
Yeah, Max.
Stay
come on.
alive for the sake of the name.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you guys next time.
Ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.